Hey guys, this is blog number 3. I'm at 14 weeks out in this video. So I'm 2 weeks in my diet, feeling pretty good. Last week there's a reason why I didn't put up a video. For a few people sent me messages asking me and stuff. Because I was sick. There was a day, I think it was Thursday, I don't know what day it was. I think Wednesday night I went to bed. Yeah, it was Wednesday night last week. I went to bed, couldn't eat my meal before I went to bed. I just kind of ended up giving it to my dog, and then I went to bed, woke up in the morning, very sick, not feeling well at all, couldn't stomach anything. I got up, I had some apple cider vinegar and stuff. I thought maybe I'll just get, flush my body out a little bit, I might feel a little bit better. Didn't work. Ended up not being able to eat all day. I think I had maybe 10 grams of aminos. I tried to get some leucine into my body to kind of stop that breakdown, a little bit of leucine, a little bit of glutamine, a little bit of essential amino acids. I think about 10 grams total, which was spaced out over from about 7 in the morning to about 5 p.m. Where I think around 4 or 5 p.m. I got down probably about a half meal, which was I think some chicken and something else. And then I think I got down one more meal that day. So I struggled that day. I felt very, very bad. Next day I woke up, struggled to eat again, felt better, but without feeling obviously great. I still didn't feel 100%. I slowly got better through the day, but I was struggling to eat. There's no appetite there. I actually went and trained legs, which I was meant to train the day before, but I just had no appetite. I just felt absolutely terrible still, and up until about now, where I'm recording it the next Thursday now, because I'm a little bit behind. But yeah, I've only just kind of got my appetite back. And funny enough, the next day I actually didn't lose any weight after eating 2 meals. I don't know why that was. You'd think my glycogen would be right down, if anything. But yeah, I didn't really lose much weight. I pretty much stayed about the same. And my weight stayed pretty consistent after that too. I mean, I haven't really lost a lot of weight since then, maybe 200 grams or something like that. So I haven't lost a lot of weight. I feel like maybe it hurt my metabolic rate just maybe fractionally. And it's probably time, 3 weeks in almost. After 3 weeks I'll change up my diet, and yeah, I'll basically change things up a little bit and add in a bit more carbs actually, and pull my fats back just to keep things changing a little bit, and I'll also add in a little bit more cardio and stuff. But I want to just talk about the video. I've got a lot of training footage in this video. I'm training with my mate from up in Queensland, Fabian Truman, who he won his class, or he might have even won the overall up at the Queensland NAVA Championships, and then he went on to do the Australian titles, where he maybe slightly controversially got second in his class there, and he was one of the best guys there at the NAVA Nationals. So he's definitely an impressive dude. He's about 26 or 27 now. He's got a massive future. I know he worked with John Davey for his last contest prep. Obviously worked for him, and he did very, very well. So I was training with him. He gets to throw around the 80s, and he stayed with me throughout the week actually. He's only just left now because he has to fly in, fly out to WA, and he had a work thing on. So he came and stayed with me, so it was good to train with him a few times, and he actually threw around the 80s the next day when we did some back as well. So very, very strong dude. I was only throwing around, I think, 46s on chest press, line double presses, and then I think I rode about 48s for dumbbell rows, so he's well ahead of me on those ones. But yeah, so basically my sickness throughout the week, I didn't drop much weight. All up, I think I dropped 3.6 kilos in about 2.5 weeks, which is, it sounds good, it's well over a kilo a week, but a lot of that's glycogen at the start. So I feel like, when I see my weight loss curve, I've got an app that I use that goes, from the start it goes right down quite quick, down like this, and then now it's just going, it's just kind of flattening out. So I think it's about, I'm not struggling with my diet. I'm on just about 3,000 calories a day, and then I have a carb day or a cheat meal once a week. This week I had a cheat meal because I wasn't planning to have it till 3 weeks in, but I had a cheat meal because I couldn't hardly eat anyway. So I thought I'll try to force as much food as I can down in one meal. Might expand my stomach a little bit, might stimulate my appetite a bit as well, my metabolic rate. So I had a cheat meal, had some Indian, had some chocolate, stuff like that, and couldn't eat as much as I normally do. I wanted to eat more, but I think that at least helped me a little bit. But so from here, I mentioned I'm going to increase my carbs, which is going to be minimal. I'm probably going to increase carbs maybe 30 grams a day. and I'm going to decrease fat, because at the moment I'm sitting probably about 115 grams of fat, I think about 120, 125 grams of carbs. If I bump those carbs up to over 150, and then bring the fat down to under 100, my caloric, in terms of calories, I'll be on slightly less calories, very minimal. But I was talking to Fabian actually about this, and he said, he did that throughout his prep. Sometimes he didn't even change the amount of calories, it was just the fact that they changed the type of calories. So I want to see how this works in terms of changing just the type of calories and see how my body responds to a little bit more carbs and a little bit less fat. Nothing crazy. I'm not going to, go down to 20 grams of fat and bump it up to 300 carbs, but I just want to see how this works for my body, how I respond to more carbs, or whether the change makes much of a difference. But I am feeling quite full at the moment. I mean, I don't feel particularly flat or anything like this at this point in the prep. So I'm going to try that, see how that works for me. But on this episode, I'm going to talk a little bit about what type of supplements I use. Because I've had a few questions actually, and I'm probably missing a few of them from people that watch the blog and stuff. But I'll talk about two of the supplements, because these are two that I find are very important. Two that I really believe in, especially one of them, vitamin D, which most people I think are deficient in, and especially a lot of older people, a lot of darker skinned people. They really, they need a lot more vitamin D generally. Like, even if you have an olive type skin, you may need a lot more vitamin D. So, the reason I found out I was deficient in vitamin D, because I was having a lot of blood tests and stuff. If you've watched my previous blogs, you'll know I've had been kind of self-diagnosed almost with adrenal fatigue syndrome. I was diagnosed with a chronic fatigue type syndrome. So I've had numerous blood tests, testing everything and stuff. So that's initially how I found out about it. I assumed I was deficient anyway, because I heard people say, most people are deficient. So I thought I'd take a small amount of vitamin D, just to, be safe. So I was taking, I think it's 1,000 IU a day or something. I went and had my bloods done. I was sitting at about 40. Oh, no, maybe it's 35 or something actually. It was quite low. It was lower than normal by about 10 or 15 or whatever, and whatever measurements it's actually measured in. So my doctor said, okay, you should look into a vitamin D supplement. And I thought, okay, this is good, proactive doctor. So I'm actually taking one already. And he recommended 400 IU a day, which for those who don't know, that's a very, very small amount. So he recommended that, and I said, well, I'm taking 1,000 a day at the moment. And he goes, he said, well, don't take any more than that, you shouldn't take any more than that. So I asked him, why? I said, why wouldn't I just take a bit more if I'm already low? And for people who don't know, being low in vitamin D is not good. I talked to Matt Lee about this, and he says he actually even thinks that the testing might be, not exactly 100%, because if the test is exposed to light and things like that, it can actually change it slightly. So I still think people are deficient, regardless of that. I think people are deficient because, our ancestors weren't exactly, covered up all the time, They were out in the sun, they weren't inside all day, they weren't sitting in front of computers, they were out in the sun doing things. So I think naturally our bodies are meant to have, sunlight, and that's how we got our vitamin D. Especially if these darker skinned people, they were out in the sun generally a lot more. The people from, they come from England and things like that, they got a little bit less sun, they can get a little bit less sun and a little bit less vitamin D, and it'll be absorbed. But the darker skinned people generally have a harder time absorbing vitamin D, so they need to take more of it. So yeah, basically from there, the doctor said, don't take any more than 1,000 IU. And in my head I'm thinking, why? I researched it to find if there's toxicity taken orally or anything like that. They said, from what I've read, from studies I've read, toxicity is very, very rare in vitamin D. You have to take, I think, pretty large amounts. I mean, well in excess of 10,000 IU a day, or probably 15 or 20,000 IU a day. And just to let everyone know, I'm not recommending anyone do this stuff. This is just what I do, and this is my opinions and stuff. I don't recommend anyone go out and do it, unless of course you want to, but that's obviously do that at your own risk. So yeah, I take 5,000 IU of vitamin D a day. After doing that for months, went back to the doctor, got my test done. I was in high normal, which is exactly where I wanted to be. I wanted to be in the high normal range for vitamin D, and it was, I've read studies and stuff to say you can be a little bit higher as well. But I was about exactly where I wanted to be. So people think, oh, in vitamin D, how big of a factor is that? What does it do? Things like that. Vitamin D technically isn't a vitamin. It's called vitamin D, but it's not a vitamin. It's basically a steroid or hormone. I can't remember the exact name for it. It's actually technically not a steroid, but it's almost like a type of a steroid, and it's just a slightly different molecule. So I think it's called a corticosteroid. I don't know, someone will probably correct me on that. But yeah, vitamin D does a lot of things, a huge amount of things. It helps the absorption of calcium, which a lot of people will take a calcium supplement if they have weak bones, or the elderly people. They'll just get given a calcium supplement. For people that don't know, just taking calcium will not make your bones stronger if you're deficient in vitamin D. It just won't. You won't absorb the calcium, it'll be just wasted. This is actually something that's probably a bit controversial. I don't like sunscreen. So people say, you've got to protect your skin from the sun, things like that, things like skin cancers, melanoma. But I believe sunscreen, if you're going out in the sun and you get burnt with sunscreen on, not only are you getting burnt, but you're also blocking out vitamin D absorption. Vitamin D it basically works as an anti-inflammatory a little bit. So you're blocking vitamin D absorption, you're getting burnt. There's some stuff in the sunscreen that isn't particularly good for you. I see a lot of sunscreens being more of a carcinogen. I think if you're going to get burnt, just cover yourself up. If you're going to get burnt badly anyway. And if you do get burnt, take some anti-inflammatory type things. Take some fish oil, take some like grapeseed extract, take things like that. And that should help the burn heal a lot quicker. Use, what's it called? I'm trying to think of what it is. Aloe vera, things like that. And that should help with the inflammation and stuff of the burn. Some other things vitamin D does. It's shown that it increases chances of cancer, certain types of cancer. There's been studies done on it, they've been pretty conclusive. Helps fight other diseases, immune system health. There's so many things. What else is here? There's studies that show that elderly women who take vitamin D, supplement with it, have a lower rate of mortality. So, it decreases death in older people. So it's pretty conclusive from just it's a very cheap supplement. I get mine from America because you will not see 5,000 IU vitamin D tablets in Australia. You won't see it, I don't think it's actually legal to sell. So I get mine from America, very cheap. I think you get through 260 or 300 capsules or something, $20. That will last you a year. So obviously in summer you might not need as much, so you might take 5,000 IU every second day. And the thing about vitamin D is it is fat soluble. So it's not like a B vitamin where it's water soluble, where it goes straight through your system. Vitamin D will be absorbed and stored in your fat cells. So you can take, I don't think there's any risk to taking 100,000 or 50,000 IU, maybe 100,000 IU of vitamin D in a day, and I don't think you're going to be all of a sudden toxic because you store a lot of it in your body, in your fat cells. And another thing about that as well, it is important to have vitamin D with a fat meal. So what I do is I take it in the morning when I have my eggs. So I've got plenty of fats in that meal, I have my fish oil and stuff. It basically, I think if you just have it with no fats, I don't think it's going to be absorbed near as well. So that's something to think about. I get mine from America, comes through customs fine, you don't need to worry about that. And this is the one I get as well. So it's vitamin D3, 5,000 IU. It's actually 360 capsules. Yeah, and I think it cost me about $20. So you can't really go past that. It'll last you a full year.